Restrictions on the rent that private landlords can charge tenants are being considered by the Welsh Government. There are no firm plans and officials want to hear the views of renters and landlords. Some landlords say rent controls would be a disaster, while a tenants group argues that rent controls are the bare minimum a government could do. Stephen Fairclough reports.
Penny is moving into a new rented flat in Cardiff. She's a PhD student who's changing address because the rent at their old property became too expensive. She has a low budget and it was hard to find something in the right price range, raising fears she would have nowhere to live.
I've been diagnosed with depression and anxiety for quite some time now, and this whole housing situation has not helped my mental health at all. The idea that I could be homeless was really scary to me, and now I can just about breathe knowing that I have a roof over my head.
The cost of living have risen for both those who rent and landlords who are trying to make ends meet in their businesses. There's no law regulating rent increases in Wales, but the Welsh Government is asking for the views of both landlords and tenants as it consults on whether there should be tighter regulations.
If the Welsh Government are going to say to landlords you can only increase your rent by 3% a year, then even in the years you don't need to do it, you're going to do it because in 2 or 3 years' time you can't raise it by 5 or 6% when you may need to. And we have very clear evidence that 70% of landlords don't increase rent when they don't have to. And we don't want the Welsh Government to create that landscape where landlords feel they have to in order to protect themselves.
Many of the properties in the Cathays area of Cardiff are rented, and people here are broadly in favour of greater controls.
I would fully support a cap. I know since the announcement of the mini budget, interest rate has gone up, but I think some landlords are taking advantage of that and increasing rent.
With the cost of living crisis at the minute, people are obviously finding it harder to make ends meet and pay bills.
My house has like black mould growing under our windows and we're still paying £400 a month each. So I think certainly in the student area, I think that sort of thing would be really popular.
There's no firm timetable for any possible legislation, and the Welsh Government has not yet stated an opinion on whether it wants to regulate rents.